Yes, we are. Hi, folks. You're with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for joining this radio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about how the future of younger people, and I suppose anyone really under the age of 40 in the West, has been stolen, comprehensively stolen in detail. Let me re-emphasize this: stolen in detail by the globalists. Now, I've just to give you an idea, in a big city like Sydney, let's just look at the sort of income you need. And I've covered this in videos before, radio live streams before, but I just can't overemphasize this enough. How anybody on an average wage in 1970, assuming they weren't careless with money, anyone on an average wage in 1970 could buy their own home, have a family, own a car, and have an annual vacation. So that's how it was then. Now let's look at it today. If you want to live in the nice tree-lined street, which before was affordable for certainly 50% of the population, but if you want to live in a nice tree-lined street, not far from good schools, and quiet neighborhood, or even the drug dealers, have a new top-of-the-range BMWs and wear, Tommy Hilfiger outfits and so on. So if you want to live in that type of neighborhood, then you need to be in the top quarter of a percent of income earners. So 1 in every 400 income earners can afford that lifestyle, assuming that they have that income, and they'll need to keep that income or its approximate level for at least 15 years, which not many. There's a high churn up at that level, so the likelihood is slim, but nonetheless that's what you'd need. So in percentage terms, it's a minuscule percentage. Now that's if you want to do it from your own income. This assumes you've got a decent deposit to buy a house in the first place, but if you're going to do that from your own income, that's mean it's 1 in 400 households has that, or 1 in 400 income earners rather has that. Now, let's suppose that let's go to a next stage here where you've got 2 income earners but no children. Now, this is probably the best one, and this is if you've got 2 income earners in the top 3% of, so 1 in every 33 people, if there's 2 of you in that category, which isn't very many, by the way, in that category, and you've got no children, and you can keep that income for, again, 15 to 18 years, and you've got the deposit, then you can do all right. Now, if we look at in household income terms, you get to higher income earning people, say in the top, the 2 people are in the top 5% or something like that. But there's not many households where you get 2 high incomes together. There are some, but you're not many. So again, you're in rarefied territory here of slightly over 1%. Now, let's suppose that you have 2 children. And this is before they go to good quality schools, but you're going to need after school care, the cost of that, before school care and so on. Then again, you're down into the 1.5%, say. So really, if you're going to live in a nice area, you have to have a good income, a good solid deposit, like $500,000 plus, just to buy a house. And you have to stay in that top income bracket or the upper income brackets for 15 years minimum, and really sort of 15 to 18 years. So let's just call it as it is. This means 95% of the population absent inheritance, and they kneel to inherit a good place is worth a bit of money. That means 95, even more, say 96.5% of the working population will never be able to own a home from their own income. Maybe some shitbox home in the outer suburb with the drug addict shitting up in the laneway or something, maybe that. But if it's in a nice area, that you've got a very small chance, about a 1% chance of living in a nice area. So that's how can you have a stake in the country when you can't afford a house? Your job pays such shit money. I mean, even if you put the most optimistic shine on things, and so people can buy cheap properties and that sort of stuff. Even then, you're looking at less than 1 in 4 people can buy even a shit property. So that's the mathematics of it. That's the reality of it out there. So we've gone from pretty much anybody with a full-time job could afford the house and the car and the vacation and dependent family to now being such a rarity. And if you put in, say, you do the mathematics on things like, let's have 2 nice cars in a driveway, let's put the kids to like good private schools, give them a good quality education, then you're looking at a seriously rare situation. Again, 1 in every 280, 290 people can afford or even consider affording that type of thing. And if you want something more if you want to move up the value chain, remember, I'm only looking at entry level into a nice area. If you want to talk, water views, and you've also got a weekend up in the mountains or down the coast or something like that, then you're looking at bigger bucks again. So it's becoming, not becoming, it is an extremely rare situation that anyone can afford that sort of nice tree-lined, quiet, neatly trimmed lawn area, and this means that nearly everybody working today, with the exception of a small handful, that don't have a future. They're looking to renting all their lives. They're looking at not being able to afford, assuming they can even afford to have children and get married and that sort of thing, then they're looking at, they can't afford to send their kids to a good school or anything like that. So they'll be in the government school getting indoctrinated about climate change and evil straight white males and so on, as all part of the globalist project to destroy the West. And the globalists, this is purposeful. The globalists want to make sure that these kids or younger people have no future, and that they know they have no future. As they look out into the years ahead, they see nothing, absolutely nothing. And they go, holy fuck, my life's got no meaning. What am I going to do? Other than looking at online porn and going to climate change marches, I've got nothing, no future at all. My life has no meaning. It has no purpose. I'm never going to achieve anything, own anything, create anything, produce anything. My life is worthless. So I'm just going to exist day to day. I'm not going to live. I'm going to exist. And the globalists have done this to the West, with the help of our useless fucking politicians, by the way. But when I think about when I bought my first, and I'm older than 40, by the way, but when I bought my first house, I was making about 3 times, I suppose, the average wage at that time, and I could afford a dependent, wife and 2 children, 2 cars in the driveway, the mortgage, and I'd saved rigorously and lived the life of a pauper to save every penny to put a deposit on my first house. But even so, that was eminently doable at that time. Someone on 2.5 times, 3 times the average income today couldn't afford that. They'd need on two people making 3 times the average income, that would be affordable, but they couldn't afford to have children at that sort of wage, or unless they lived quite a Spartan lifestyle, because the mortgage would chew up so much. But there you go, and it's an outrage that this has been done to us with the help of our own politicians. So that's why the youth, anyone under the age of 40, has no purpose. And when you look in the face of these kids that seem completely unmotivated, why the fuck should I get up out of bed this morning type attitude, this is why they can't see a future, and there is no future for them. Not now. Can something be done about it? Oh yes, it can. Sure, it can. The house prices reflect the purchasing power of the fucking paycheck. That's how it should be, and that the majority of the population should be able to afford a house and afford to procreate. And any Western government puts their mind and their action and their policies towards that will win crushing landslide elections. That they will obliterate all opposition if only they can deliver that for the people. You've been with Tassus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.